Hello my friends, it's Becky here and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a new video. Today I'm very excited because I'm doing my Christmassy TBR and I have very Christmassy new mug with the snowman. I am not a seasonal reader, as I mentioned in a couple of my previous videos, so I do not usually read books which are specifically, for autumn or spring or summer. However, this year for some reason I really feel like in December I do want to read books which are set in or around Christmas and winter and in the colder environment, and I'm very excited because I put together quite a big pile of books, and it's quite a lot of TBR for me because usually I do not read as many books, but this year I just feel like I really want to read as many Christmassy books as possible. So I would like to introduce these books to you and maybe give you some ideas of the books you would like to read, and I'm very hoping to read as many books as possible because I'm also going home in the mid-December, and as I mentioned before as well, usually when I'm home I do not read almost at all because I just spend all the time with the family and friends and with the puppy Willy. So but we'll see, because some of these books are really great. So without further ado, I will just start, and I will start with the first book, which is actually not a Christmassy one, but it had been on my TBR for quite a while, and recently I saw a video by lovely Gemma from Gem of Books, and she said that she is planning to read this book called The Priory of the Orange Tree, and immediately I messaged her and I was like, oh, would you like to buddy read this? And she said yes. So I'm very excited because I love buddy reading with her. So this is the one we are starting actually this weekend as you are watching the video. Hopefully I'll be able to edit everything. So we are starting this today, and I do not know much about this book, only that all the people over on Booktube were praising it and everyone loved it, and it should be a high fantasy, and I really love the cover. So that's all I know, but I would very much love to read it. It's quite thick, baby, approximately 1000 pages, so it's probably gonna be the longer term project for me, but we are hoping to finish it within a month. So we'll see, but this is the first book on my TBR. And I also have it as ebook, so I think it might be a little bit challenging to read this long book on my phone. So if there will be an opportunity, I would like to get a physical copy, maybe from some secondhand bookstore or something like this. But we'll see. If not, it's gonna be on my ebook TBR, but I'm very excited. So this is the first book, and now let's go with the Christmassy ones because I'm way too excited. So the first book I would love to read, which was also on my TBR since the last year, is The Letters from the Father Christmas by J.R.R. Tolkien. And I'm super excited because apparently I do not know much about this book either, but it should be Tolkien writing letters to his children for over 20 years, as it was from the Father Christmas, and he would be writing about adventures happening in the North Pole. So I must confess that I did not read Lord of the Rings, although I love the movies and I'm obsessed with them. I did read Hobbit and I did read the Silmarillion, but it was way too how to say, like, way too much. It took a long time to finish Silmarillion especially, so I did not pick up The Lord of the Rings. However, Tolkien obviously is a person who I admire very much for many reasons, and I would very much love to read this book. So this is the first book on my list, and then the second one, which I have my list here, is called The Afterlife of Holy Chase, and this should be a fantasy and young adult, which also should be a retelling of the Christmas Carol. Funnily enough, I did not read the Christmas Carol yet, but I think it will be another book on my TBR for this year because I do have a kind of special relationship with Dickens, because I tried to read 2 of his books previously and for some reason I was unable to get into the books and I just DNF'd them. So but I know that Christmas Carol is one of those books which people really enjoy, and they say that they are quite important, they're essential reads. So I think that's another book on my TBR for this Christmas. And also I would love to read this retelling. So as little as I know about the Christmas Carol, the original story, I know there should be something going on with some ghosts during Christmas, and in this book, in this retelling, should be our main character Holly, who is visited by 3 ghosts during the Christmas, who basically reveal to her that she became quite spoiled over the recent months or years, and they ask her to become a better person, basically, from what I gathered. However, she does not do it, and then she dies. And then in her afterlife, she is basically stuck in the age of 17 years old, whilst everyone else around her, her family and friends, are growing older, and I think that she is also working for some secret agency or something like this. So it sounded very intriguing to me and I would love to read it, and if the Christmas Carol, the original one, is well, probably it won't be exactly like this, obviously, but I'm also quite interested to read Christmas Carol now as well. So those are my 3 books now on the TBR, with the Christmas Carol, the original one by Dickens as well. Another book, yes, Christmas Carol, is the Enchanted Sonata, which I do not know much about either, other than it's a retelling of the Nutcracker, the original story, which was, well, later the Tchaikovsky based his ballet on this story. English, sorry. So I'm very much excited because I love the ballet. I had the biggest dream of becoming a ballerina myself my whole childhood. However, it did not happen for many reasons, but I do love ballet. I've seen several different production of a Nutcracker, and especially during Christmas I love it. The Royal Opera House has a wonderful one if you have a chance, because sometimes they're also doing the online screenings, and in past years pre-COVID I used to go to cinema to watch online screenings on different ballets from Royal Opera House, and it was wonderful. I seen at least like 6 of them, and it was a highlight of my year. I absolutely loved it. So I need to check how is it now after COVID, but if you have a chance, do it. And I would very much love to read this book, which is the retelling of the Nutcracker, so I cannot wait. And then another book I have is called the Christmas Bookshop, which I'm super excited because it's based in Scotland, in Edinburgh. And in this book we meet our main character Carmen, who basically lost her job after the store she was working in closed completely, and she kind of found herself in a place where she doesn't really know what to do, because one of the options is to go to her sister's house, but from what I gather they do not have the greatest relationship with her sister, and she ends up working in this old bookstore with one older gentleman. And I think that this story is mostly about her and building again the relationship with her sister and family and friends and friendship, and also the relationship between her and the owner of the shop. But it's around Christmas and it's about books, and it's based in Edinburgh, so I really cannot wait. And then last book I have on my TBR is called Winter Romances, which I'm also buddy reading with lovely Emily from Novel Novels, and this should be a book with short stories which are based around Christmas. And my sister has this book in her library back home, so I think I will have to speak with Emily, so hello Emily. But it's something I will need to read probably in the second half of the year, whilst of the December, when I'll be already home, so I can get the book. But I'm very excited because I do not read short stories very often, and if I do, I quite struggle to finish them. So I'm very curious about this book and how this is gonna go, because I know Emily has it on her TBR and she was very excited, and I also heard a couple more people talking about this book, that it's very lovely Christmas read. So I really cannot wait. And those are all of my books which I have on my TBR for December, which is quite big one for me, because as I mentioned, I do not read as much books, and especially the Priory of the Orange Tree is a massive big baby, so it's like 1,000 pages approximately. So I'll see how many books I manage to read, but I'm hoping to read as much as possible and just stay, honestly, wrap up on the couch in the blanket or outside with Willy and just, you know, read the books. So I'm very excited about this. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know, because I'm really curious to hear your Christmassy TBRs and reads, because recently I've been just binge watching all the booktubers and their plans for Christmas reads. So please let me know in the comments. Also, if you read any of these books, maybe your comments and notes on these books. And if you enjoyed this, please consider subscribe, because it would be very lovely to have you here, and I will see you with another video very soon. Take care, bye bye.